Look at that.
House donkey.
This is a big doggy head right here. Yes, you're beautiful. Yes, you are. Okay. Very pleased today to have Dan Tech back on the channel. Say hi to Dan.
Hi.
And the giant horse dog.
Stella. Stella, come here and sit down. Come on.
So, she might even show you the dinosaur today. You gonna bring me your dinosaur? Look at that. Yeah. So, old dog toys and old Corvettes. That's what we're talking about today.
Because who doesn't like both?
Oh man. This is vintage RC at the master class right here. So how far do you so first of all, when I think RC, I think radio control.
Yep.
Except that before there was radio control, when they were building like Heathkit radios, you guys have seen that on this channel already before. This was radio control in a different way. It was remote controlled.
Yes, it's not radio controlled. It is tethered, but not in the way you'd think it would be.
So why don't you tell us about this car and why on earth it ended up here on the channel?
So I was bored perusing Facebook Marketplace, and this thing popped up. So I messaged. It was fairly local. It was still available, and I made a deal for it. I don't know when it is actually from. All the research that I've done, all the information I could find says basically 1968 through 1970. I had no idea how it worked or even if it does work, and we still don't know if it works. But I bought it, and I figured it would just be a cool display piece to sit on a shelf. It turns out it's pneumatic.
This is so cool. It's so cool.
So yeah, it's literally pneumatic steering.
Yeah.
And I think there's a 4 or a 6 position switch in the car, because it's not in the handheld control unit.
Yeah.
And the more you squeeze it, determines what function you're activating.
The more it does. It's so wild. Yeah.
So we're gonna put batteries in it.
Let's see what happens, bud.
Let's see if it works.
So this is actually a 1968 model. The car is a 68 Corvette, and there's a bunch of markings on the box about it being 1968 patent.
Yeah, patent pending 1968 Eldon Industries.
Yeah, from Eldon Industries. So super cool. They say it's 12 scale. Well, that's, you know, RC scale. We already know that doesn't really mean much. But it's very cool. Look at that thing. Is that not super cool? I mean, just the sleek lines of a 68 Corvette are super cool enough. But this thing is actually remote controlled. It's just wild. So there is a battery tray on the bottom. And that's it. And one little socket.
And that socket.
Is that not crazy? Look at that. It's just, all it is an air tube.
Yeah, it's just an air tube with a pump and bellows.
Wild. Crazy.
So,
anyway, we have instructions, so maybe we should follow them.
No. When all else fails, read the instructions.
Right, yeah, okay. Let's just see what we can do first. So, this thing does take 2D batteries, which I guess in 1968 was available. And general, regular old D batteries. And then, of course, you don't need the D batteries to make the pneumatics work because they're on bellows, right? Look at that. Can you believe that? So this thing, you gotta show that again. So this thing is steering while you're squeezing the trigger. Okay, so the air is going down this air line and it's opening and closing a set of bellows in there. So you can understand that if you, depending on how hard you squeeze, you're gonna get a different steering, right? So it defaults to the right, but you could center it. You can drive straight. You can drive to the right, to the left, you know? Isn't that wild? Just crazy. And then, on the little controller, the handheld unit, it shows you a couple of different things so that you kind of have a reference on, yeah, there you go. Stick that right in the center. So you have a reference on whether you're going to be turning left or right or whatever, so you can kind of see it. You know what I mean? It shows you where it is on the bellows. Isn't that crazy? Wow.
If it works.
Well,
it is what, almost 55 years old.
I know. I guess we'll find out. I guess we'll find out. So maybe we'll get this thing powered on and see what happens here. And we don't have any idea. One of the things that I thought was so incredible when Dan first showed me this is that it's not corroded inside. You know, typically in the battery compartment, you have just huge amounts of corrosion on the brass contacts and stuff because someone left batteries in it for 5 years, you know, that sort of thing. Nothing. These are completely clean, which I think is just crazy rare. So my guess is it's...
Show you what direction to put them in?
Yeah. My guess is it's just, is it going to just turn on as soon as we power it?
Well, I think it doesn't go forward until you squeeze this thing far enough. So put the battery in, we'll see what happens.
Oh, wow.
If there's a big smoke, call someone.
Call someone. Here's a quarter. So, nothing happened. And I guess we're going to find out now. Oh, the hose just popped off here. My bad. Okay. There is a bellows in it that pushes a switch too.
I can hear it making the switch.
Yeah, I can hear it switching too.
Interesting.
You can hear the switch, eh? It's clicking on.
Is that an electrical switch?
Yeah, there's there's two bellows, one for the steering, and there's one in the center that's tripping a switch, and then it's like a long delay, so you can steer while it's driving. Maybe we'll have to pull the body off and take a look at it.
I think we should.
Okay, well, let's do that.
What do we need?
I don't know. Looks like a regular Phillips. Let me go grab some stuff.
Look at that.
Wow. That's just a typical hard body there. But, wow, look at all the gears and stuff. It's so cool. So, look at that. So there's a steering bellows, and then there's a switching bellows, and there's a Y off of the back air pressure line from the gearbox to the center there, and that splits the air to the two bellows. So this one is actually just a switch. We should plug this in and see how it works.
I took the batteries out.
Okay, that's fine. Let's just see how the switch works, and then we'll get it cleaned up. Oh yeah, see this? See, it's tripping the speed control.
Yeah.
And it goes on and off. It's got a stepper in it, like a clock. See?
Yeah. So it'll be on, off, forward and reverse.
Wow, that's incredible.
Neat.
I want to show you how that works. So do you see the speed control in the center? It's actually like clocking, and it notches back, and then it clocks ahead one more item. That is amazing. I wonder if the battery terminals are just not connecting to the battery, or
yeah.
I mean,
well, the motor's not turning.
No, the motor is not turning. It seems to be slipping on that shaft right there. It wants to go, but maybe it's got a built-in slipper. Oh, I think this gear is cracked, see?
Oh, yeah, I see it.
See that? So it's not grabbing the first gear anymore. But in any case, we didn't hear that running anyways.
Yep. So let's see if we can make it run, because then we can
then we can
fix
work
the
on
gear.
it. Yeah. And battery doesn't fall out, so that's amazing. There we go. We got power now, so let's see what happens. Let me measure the battery voltage on the motor and see if the speed control is just toasted. I don't see anything. I don't think the speed control is sending any power out.
Doesn't sound like it's ratcheting now either.
Okay, give your bellows a squeeze. That whole thing just needs to be lubed up and cleaned.
I wonder if that bellows isn't moving far enough. Do we lose an airline?
It's trying, but it's just all stuck in here. It's just all squishy and tight. It looks to me like the whole board is just worn flat, like somebody drove the heck out of this thing. That's what it looks like to me.
I hope so. I would have driven the heck out of this thing.
Wow. What an interesting vehicle. That's crazy. So, I guess if remote control was a thing that you could get into at the time, this was maybe all you had. Other than that, other than building Heath kits and
yep, slot cars. Slot cars were around in
slot cars you could do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's just bonkers.
This would be a slot car you ran around behind.
Yeah. Well, I guess we need to do like a resto on that, and get it cleaned up.
Yep.
I mean, you could turn it into an RC. It has all the moving components to do so, but I don't think that would be a good idea.
No, I think it needs to...
I think it needs to live on in its original form.
Either sitting on a shelf, or if we can make it functional, just so I can then take the batteries out of it and leave it on a shelf. But it would be fun to make it work.
Yeah, I think the speed control needs to come apart and get it all cleaned and clean all the contacts off, and then just check all the continuity in it.
Maybe do a bit of detailing.
A little bit.
You can't really tell, but there is raised letters on the sidewall of the tires.
Yeah.
E7015 and then Eldon. So
wow.
You know,
bias treads.
We could have raised white letters.
Yeah. Bias treads on the back. And that thing fits in there. It's just, everything is just 1968. It's so incredible. What a cool thing, eh?
Very cool. Well, I'm not even disappointed that it doesn't work, because everything else is so cool about it that it just gives us a project for another day.
So, I mean, here's a question for the viewers. Has anybody ever heard of one of these things? Like, ever? I mean, I'd never seen anything like this pneumatic air-controlled RC. I've never seen that in my life.
And while I'm old, I wasn't around back then. Were there hobby grade RC stores? Would this be considered? This wouldn't be considered hobby grade. This would be toy grade, wouldn't it? But where would you find something like this? Would it be a catalog?
That's crazy.
Anyway,
I don't know. Well, we gave that a shot.
We'll make it work.
Yeah, I think with a little cleanup it'll work. We'll do an update video.
Absolutely.
Anyways, vintage RC, guys. As old as it can get, I think. Unless you find something older, send a note into the channel, because we want to see it. Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you send your comments in. Thanks for bringing that over.
Yeah, no problem.
Bye-bye.
Bye.